I am not super loving my hair today, but we're gonna go with it because I just don't have time before work. So, um, today I wanted to talk about how motherhood looks different. No, not motherhood. How friendship looks different once you become a mom, and when you're trying to make friends, or if you're trying to continue your friendship with someone you like, one of your friends, how you should not steal her no. So, the first piece to this whole conversation is how your friendship changes after you become a mom. Because let's just face it, once we become moms, we have so much more tugging at our time. And how many more challenges does it actually take to get out the door to go hang out with a friend, right? Like before, we probably would have gone out to dinner, maybe would have like participated in an activity, maybe we would have like hung out really late into the evening. And then once you become a mom, all of that changes. So, how can we still have these really fun, like interactions with our friends, especially if you're both moms, now that you have kids and you have more pulling at your time? So, I wanted to kind of just like talk through a couple of different things that my friends and I have figured out so that way we could still stay connected. And one huge variable, I think, in this whole part of this conversation is not only the limitation of like the challenges of getting out the door, but it can also be the challenges of time. And then third is the challenges of finances. Because if both of you are working, you probably have your kids in some sort of childcare system where that is a huge expense for the majority of families. Or if your kids aren't in a childcare situation, maybe one of you took a huge pay cut so that way one of you could stay home with your kids, right? So there is a much more limitation on your finances when you become a mom than what you would have had previous to, having kids. And that can end up having a big impact on what you do with your friends and how you hang out and interact with them now that we're parents. So, the first thing is, of course, finding pockets of your time where you can still connect with your friends. Now, I know that not every person is a phone person or like a FaceTime video call person, but to find those pockets of time where you are regularly doing the same thing, like making dinner, and maybe once a week you call up your friend and you guys talk over their FaceTime or a video call while you guys are making dinner. When I've done this with my friends in the past, it's not like a big deal if we continually stay in frame or if we have to say, hey, just a second, I need to grab something from my pantry. You know what I mean? Where it almost in a way feels like, hey, we're making dinner together from our own homes, yet we're still connecting in this manner that we are relating to each other because we both know the struggles of trying to get dinner on the table. Now, maybe that's not like the best situation. So maybe it could be like while you're washing dishes or while you're cleaning up your kitchen, or maybe it's while you're folding your laundry. This one is a little bit more realistic for me because there's not quite as much noise when it comes to folding laundry and everything's already, there. So I just want to encourage you to think of different ways that you can still connect with your friends, even if it's not like hanging out in person. The other thing that I do with one of my really best friends that we've been continuing to do for several years, since we've been moms for several years, is we talk to each other over a regular traditional call. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Like we talk to each other every 2 or 3 weeks, and that gives us an opportunity to connect and check in. And we usually end up talking for at least an hour. But we know, okay, Thursday night is our night that we're going to get on the phone and we're going to check in and we're going to see hey, what's going on in each other's lives. Now, this isn't the only time that we get together or we hang out, but it's a very regular occurrence that I know, okay, in 2 or 3 weeks from our last conversation, we're making it a point to connect in with each other. The third option is to now, and I know you may not be able to do this if you have really young kids, maybe if you're still nursing, but is to do mom retreats. And when you think of that, you might immediately think of, wow, that's really expensive. You know, you're gone for a couple of days, you're like staying at a hotel, you're participating in this event. No, 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 that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where you go over to the other person's house and you just spend the night. One of my friends and I actually do this, like maybe once a quarter, or like twice a year, where I just tell my husband, like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for this evening. And he's like, great, go have fun with your friend. Like, you need it, where I am not on mom duty and I just get to be an adult. We, hang out while we make dinner, and then I eat with her family. And then she puts her kid to bed. This whole time we're hanging out, we're conversing. I'm participating in her, like mom life, cleaning the kitchen and seeing her get her kid ready for bed. And throughout the whole time, I just want to encourage you that if you do this with your friend, don't feel like you have to entertain them this whole while you like taking care of your family. Okay? Like she's going to get it. Like she does the exact same thing with her own family. And then after her kid is in bed, that's when we get time to like sit down and actually like be, friends, be adults. Sometimes we do like facials and manicures. So it just kind of depends on what we're like, whatever is like your thing. We usually talk really late into the night, much later than we probably should. Those are like super nice little pockets of time where it's like, okay, I know I'm going to have this dedicated time where I don't have to take care of my own family and I can invest in my friendship with my friend. Now, the final piece to this whole like don't steal her no is because you might think of something that you want to do, and especially as moms when there's such a big limitation, we might be thinking of all the other excuses and reasons why if we present an idea to another mom, that we just assume that she's going to say no. Like, oh no, she's too busy. She has too many commitments. Like, that's not going to work out for her family. Like, she's not going to want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, we are stealing from her. We're robbing from her the opportunity for her to make a decision for herself. Like, it's our job to present the opportunity, the idea to her. It's her job to actually determine, will this work for me? Am I interested? So don't rob her no from her. One of my other friends, she started saying this to me because we'd get together and I would say, oh yeah, I thought about like inviting you to this thing, or like we're super good friends, like she wouldn't take offense to this, where I'd be like, oh yeah, I wanted to invite you over and, hang out with you, but I just knew you were super busy. And she would say like, Brianna, stop stealing my no, so, and after a couple of instances of that happening and me not even realizing that's actually what I'm doing, I then got to the point where I realized like, hey, it's not on me to determine what is good for her and to make this decision for her. It's on me only to present to her the opportunity and give her the choice to determine what this might look like. And then we can have a conversation on, hey, maybe she does want to participate in this activity, but maybe it needs to look a little bit different for her unique circumstances, or like the date around the time that we choose to hang out, etc. So I do hope that you find this helpful. Let me know your thoughts and we can continue this conversation in the comments.